Hi everyone, we welcome you to more of our interview series here on OzarkRadioNews.com, which is located in our Ask the Expert section. Our interview series today continues with Marty Simpson from Simpson Estate and Elder Planning, and we're talking about essentially being ready for those times in life where it is necessary to have a plan ready to go. And we're happy to have Marty back with us today. And Marty, when it comes time for a loved one who may be going to or already in a nursing home, what can you do? Are there things you can do to save assets?
Sure, there are. Quite often people think that if you're already in the nursing home or you're on the way to the nursing home, it's too late to do any planning. You don't have that 5 years to plan. But we can save perhaps half of the assets and still get your loved one qualified for Medicaid.
Now, with a situation where one, let's say an elder parent, grandparent, whatever the case, is going into a home, but the other is not, is that a complicated situation? Do the assets have to be split at that point, or how's that work?
They don't necessarily have to be split in half. Oftentimes people believe that you have to do what's called the division of assets, cut them in half and give the state half and the healthy spouse keep half. However, though, the healthy spouse by federal law is allowed to keep $25,284 as a minimum, plus the house, plus a car, plus all the personal property. So there's a minimum of that $25,000. If your loved one doesn't have that much money, then they'll be able to keep all of it. Additionally, the healthy spouse gets to keep all of their income, and if they don't have sufficient income, they get to keep the spouse that's in the nursing home's income up to a maximum of $2,058. So they don't have to cut everything in half. They may get to keep it all.
Okay, now let's go the other direction. What if grandma is single? How's that affect things?
Well, if grandma's single, the rules are very different for single or married people. If grandma's single, the law says that she's allowed to keep the house, to keep the car, to keep her personal property, and to keep $3,000 in other assets. Quite often, she'll have more than $3,000 in other assets, and we have what's called a spend down. She has to spend down to that $3,000. However, there are a lot of strategies we can use to save the money that would be spent down. For instance, that money can be spent on a prepaid funeral plan. It can be spent on debts that grandma has. We can also use that money to get it transferred to the family and make it exempt so that Medicaid doesn't count it. We can never save 100% of it for the crisis planning, but we can save quite a bit of it.
Okay, are there rules attached to the spend down money and what it can be used for?
Oh, absolutely. It can be used, like I said, for a prepaid funeral plan. It can pay off debts. It can be used for her care. It can be used for a variety of items to care for the person that's in the nursing home. However, there are strategies we can use to save a good deal of that money to get it transferred to her loved ones, her children or her grandchildren.
Let's say that some assets were transferred 5 years previous. Does that complicate matters in any way?
If assets were transferred less than 5 years ago, we do have to know about them. When we're doing crisis planning, we need to know everything that your loved one has right now, as far as assets, real estate, money, personal property, as well as anything that was transferred within 5 years. Medicaid has their 5-year look-back period, and they can go back and see anything that's been transferred within that 5 years and can claim the value of that transfer against you. We do have strategies, however, to mitigate that and to prevent what's called a penalty period, which is an amount of time that Medicaid would say that your loved one is not eligible for Medicaid. With proper planning, we can mitigate that penalty period, make it as short as possible, and save those assets, even ones that have been transferred within 5 years, for your loved one's family.
If people want to get in contact with you about these or other questions, how's the best way to do that?
My telephone number is 417-256-1968. My website is simpsonestate&elderlawfirm.com.
And if you want to contact Marty, do it that way. And also, we're going to be talking later about some other issues about estate planning and this 5-year period that we were talking about and some of the other questions that might come up. We thank Marty Simpson for being with us. This is a part of the interview series, and you can find this on our website at ozarkradionews.com in the Ask the Expert series.